But at daybreak he awoke. Wild dreams had disturbed his repose. He dreamed that he was endowed with wings he wished to fly away. For a time these wings supported him, but when he reached a certain height this new aid failed him. His wings were broken, and he seemed to sink into a bottomless abyss, whence he awoke, bathed in perspiration and nearly as much overcome as if he had really fallen. He fell asleep again, and another vision appeared. He was in a subterranean passage by which he was to leave Vincennes. Grimid was walking before him with a lantern. By degrees the passage narrowed, yet the Duke continued his course. At last it became so narrow that the fugitive tried in vain to proceed. The sides of the walls seemed to close in, even to press against him. He made fruitless efforts to go on; it was impossible. Nevertheless, he still saw Grimid with his lantern in front, advancing. He wished to call out to him, but could not utter a word. Then at the other extremity he heard the footsteps of those who were pursuing him. These steps came fast. He was discovered, all hope of flight was gone. Still the walls seemed to be closing on him, they appeared to be in concert with his enemies. At last he heard the voice of La Ramee. La Ramee took his hand and laughed aloud. He was captured again, and conducted to the low and vaulted chamber in which Ornano, Puylaurens, and his uncle had died. Their 3 graves were there, rising above the ground, and a 4th was also there, yawning for its ghastly tenant. The Duke was obliged to make as many efforts to awake as he had done to go to sleep. In fact, said one of the guards who had remained in the chamber, and had been kept awake by a toothache, brought on by the dampness of the atmosphere, "My lord has had a very restless night, and 2 or 3 times, while dreaming, he called for help." "What is the matter with your highness?" asked La Ramee. "'Tis your fault, you simpleton," answered the Duke, "with your idle nonsense yesterday about escaping. You worried me so that I dreamed that I was trying to escape and broke my neck in doing so." La Ramee laughed. "Come," he said, "'tis a warning from heaven. Never commit such an imprudence as to try to escape, except in your dreams." "You are right, my dear La Ramee," said the Duke, wiping away the sweat that stood on his brow. Wide awake though he was, after this I will think of nothing but eating and drinking. "Hush!" said La Ramee, and one by one he sent away the guards, on various pretexts. "Well?" asked the Duke when they were alone. "Well," replied La Ramee, "your supper is ordered." "Ah, what is it to be?" "Monsieur, my major domo, will there be a pie?" "I should think so. Indeed, almost as high as a tower." "You told him it was for me?" "Yes, and he said he would do his best to please your highness." "Good!" exclaimed the Duke, rubbing his hands. "Devil take it, my lord, what a gourmand you are growing! I haven't seen you with so cheerful a face these 5 years." The Duke saw that he had not controlled himself, but at that moment, as if he had listened at the door and comprehended the urgent need of diverting La Ramee's ideas, Grimid entered and made a sign to La Ramee that he had something to say to him. La Ramee drew near to Grimid, who spoke to him in a low voice. The Duke meanwhile recovered his self-control. "I have already forbidden that man," he said, "to come in here without my permission. You must pardon him." "My lord," said La Ramee, "for I directed him to come." "And why did you so direct when you know that he displeased me?" "My lord will remember that it was agreed between us that he should wait upon us at that famous supper. My lord has forgotten the supper." "No, but I have forgotten Monsieur Grimid. My lord understands that there can be no supper unless he is allowed to be present." "Go on, then, have it your own way. Come here, my lad," said La Ramee, "and hear what I have to say." Grimid approached, with a very sullen expression on his face. La Ramee continued, "My lord has done me the honour to invite me to a supper to-morrow in tête-à-tête. Remid made a sign which meant that he didn't see what that had to do with him. "Yes, yes," said La Raimi, "the matter concerns you, for you will have the honour to serve us, and besides, however good an appetite we may have and however great our thirst, there will be something left on the plates and in the bottles, and that something will be yours." Remid bowed in thanks. "And now," said La Raimi, "I must ask your Highness's pardon, but it seems that Messire de Chavigny is to be away for a few days, and he has sent me word that he has certain directions to give me before his departure." The Duke tried to exchange a glance with Gremid, but there was no glance in Gremid's eyes. "Go, then," said the Duke, "and return as soon as possible. Does your Highness wish to take revenge for the game of tennis yesterday?" Gremid intimated by a scarcely perceptible nod that he should consent. "Yes," said the Duke, "but take care, my dear La Raimi, for I propose to beat you badly." La Raimi went out. Gremid looked after him, and when the door was closed he drew out of his pocket a pencil and a sheet of paper. "Write, 'My lord,'" he said. "And what?" Gremid dictated. "All is ready for tomorrow evening. Keep watch from 7 to 9. Have 2 riding horses ready. We shall descend by the first window in the gallery."